Welcome everyone. We're going to start the live streaming in about 2 minutes. About a minute to go, and then we will start the weekly live sessions, which is where we're going to cover Salesforce and we're going to talk about the entire ecosystem. And in about 10 weekly live sessions, we will make sure that you are equipped with handling the Salesforce fundamentals. So I hope you're excited because I am extremely excited about the next 10-week sessions. All right, it is 9:32, so I am going to start the weekly live session. So for people who are tuning in, thank you so much. If you have not tuned in, this is going to be recorded and this video will be uploaded on YouTube. So you should be able to watch this video at your own convenience. So what is the purpose of the weekly live sessions? My purpose or my goal for the weekly live sessions is to make sure that we have a session, we have a program of 10 live sessions. This is where I'll be covering the fundamentals of Salesforce. This is where you will know what the Salesforce ecosystem is. You will be spinning up your Salesforce instance. You will be creating automations. You will be sending out emails through Salesforce. You will be learning about flows, validation rules, custom objects, custom fields, and so much more. So at the end of 10 weeks, you should be able, you should feel very comfortable in the Salesforce ecosystem. And then if you want to pursue your Salesforce administrator certification or your developer certification, that will put you in a good spot. So today's session is going to be light. It's going to be an introductory session on Salesforce. So let's get started with that. Before I do that, the agenda for today, introductions. We will talk about what is Salesforce, and then finally we'll help you get started with the developer org. And finally, there will also be a tour of Salesforce. So by end of today, you will know what Salesforce is. You'll have your own Salesforce instance and you will get a tour of Salesforce and different records. All right. So introductions. Who am I? Who is Sujay? So I am a technical architect at Salesforce. I am customer centric. I believe in helping out the customers. My career is dedicated to transforming analytics to help build data driven architecture, to help build data driven culture at organizations. I am extremely passionate about data analytics. If you followed me on Instagram, you probably see I post tons of content on data analytics. And I am extremely passionate about Salesforce ecosystem. I believe it's one of the best platforms, one of the best softwares out there that will help you to build your career. And the ecosystem is absolutely fantastic. And as you can see, I have 20 Salesforce certifications. I also am certified in CRM analytics. I have Microsoft Azure machine learning certified engineer as well. I have a blog where I post content on solutions, right? It's mostly around how do you build, how do you develop a solution in Salesforce, or how do you get past a problem or challenges in analytics. I'll post all the links in the chat or in the comments of this video in a few minutes. And as you know, I'm also a YouTube content creator, or as well as I post content on Instagram. My goal for 2024 is to teach 100K plus students, right? And the way to do that is to have these weekly live sessions. That way people can tune in. And again, if you cannot tune in, if this time is not convenient for you, then you can absolutely watch it at your own convenience. Also, there are tons of other videos on my YouTube channel. You will find an entire playlist on CRM analytics. It's a 10-day course that will help you to spin up your CRM analytics instance, as well as by the end of 10 days, you'll have your entire project in CRM analytics. There's a playlist on SQL. There's a playlist on Python. There's playlist on entire 1 hour hands-on tutorial on using Excel for data analytics. So make sure you check that out. I hope you find that content helpful. All right. So we're going to talk about the Salesforce technology overview, right? What is Salesforce? What is the technology that runs Salesforce? So I like to think of Salesforce as customer 360. And what I mean by customer 360 is this is something that comes from the Salesforce website as well. If you see, Salesforce is a collection of all apps, and there are so many apps in here. There is AI that is embedded in Salesforce solution. There is sales, there is service, there's marketing, commerce, data cloud, Tableau, which is one of the best data analytics tool. There's MuleSoft, Slack, Heroku, NetZero, small business, partners, success, and so much more. What this means is your customer can be on Salesforce and can leverage any of these apps to help out a customer to digitally transform their sales or their service or their marketing platforms or their journeys. All right. So why should you learn Salesforce then? I know there's tons of things here, but why? What is the purpose of learning Salesforce? What is the purpose of these weekly live sessions? Why should you spend time? Why should you invest time in learning Salesforce? So the best reason is the job outlook, right? So if you look at the job outlook, 11.6 million jobs are to be created in the Salesforce ecosystem by 2028. Okay, that's 11.6 million jobs across the world going to be created in the Salesforce ecosystem. Then, because of that, because of the new jobs coming into the ecosystem, we will have 2 trillion plus net gain in revenue across organizations. Right now, if you're wondering, okay, you know what, this is great. It's 11.6 million jobs to be created. But how is the ecosystem? How do I learn Salesforce outside of these weekly live sessions? How expensive is it to get certified? Well, the good news is Salesforce is a very welcoming ecosystem. As you can see, there are 20 million trailblazers. What are trailblazers? Trailblazers are Salesforce administrators, developers, people working in the Salesforce ecosystem who are located across the world. And really, we are very passionate about helping people come into the Salesforce ecosystem. It was when I joined Salesforce, I used a lot of these trailblazer groups to come in to understand what the Salesforce ecosystem was, and everybody was extremely welcoming and helped me in my journey at Salesforce, which eventually led me to getting a job at Salesforce, right? And there are 2000 plus groups, right? So you can go online, you can search for any of these groups and check out the content. A lot of these groups post videos on YouTube. So if you want to check out, past sessions, absolutely, that's a great way of doing that. But I also highly recommend joining these groups. I highly recommend adding the events on your calendar. And a lot of these events are now remote, right? So you can join through Zoom or Google Meet, and you can see what the community is about. And they usually take different topics of Salesforce. They start and they give a high level overview, and then they start getting deeper into those Salesforce solutions. So highly recommend looking at community groups. Again, reason for Salesforce is 11.6 million jobs. We are in 2024. In 4 years, 11.6 million jobs to be created. And the best thing is you have 20 million trailblazers like me who are out there to help you come into the Salesforce ecosystem. Okay, so now if you're wondering, okay, you know what, there are 11.6 million jobs. What will I be doing in the Salesforce ecosystem, right? What's going to be my role in the Salesforce ecosystem? Let me go back. Okay, so the role in the Salesforce ecosystem, there are multiple roles in the Salesforce ecosystem. One of the common role is the product owner. Now, if you're good with people, if you understand what the product is going to be, then absolutely decide to be a product owner. This is where you focus on the product. This is where you decide what features are going to be important for the product. How is the product going to look and feel? How are the customers going to use your product, right? So you represent the end users of the product to develop a product that will be used by your end users. If there's also project manager, right? So every CRM implementation requires project managers. So if you are great with resources, if you're great with budgeting, allocation, time management, then this is a fantastic role. You can come into the Salesforce ecosystem. You can be a project manager. If you are good with people, right? So business analysts, business architects are a requirement, are required for every single Salesforce implementation project. And who are business analysts? Business analysts are people who will work with stakeholders. They will understand what their requirements are. Once they understand what their requirements are, they can translate those requirements into technical requirements so that the Salesforce developers can work on those requirements, right? And the business architects are really, really good at people. They are really good at understanding the current system, the understanding the current process, and they're really good at transforming or explaining what a future system looks like, right? So if you're a person who's great with processes, if you are great with people, definitely look out for business architect and business analyst roles. Then if you want to be more technical, then you can be a technical architect. This is where you're responsible for developing the architecture, right? So for example, if you want to develop a page, as a technical architect, not only are you responsible for understanding or for designing what that, what could go on the page and so on, but you are responsible to develop an architecture that is more scalable. What happens when someone clicks on a button? What happens when someone signs in, right? Let's say there's a page that has a username and password, and when someone clicks on sign in, what happens? How are you going to do validation of a user, SSO implementation, things like that, right? As a technical architect, you're really responsible for delivering the technical architecture of the program. Now, if you like to be hands-on, right, you don't want to get into the high level overview or the big scheme of things with respect to designing the architecture, then look to be a developer. Developer is a great starting entry point for any Salesforce developers, for anyone who wants to enter the Salesforce ecosystem. This is hands-on keyboard, right? This is you'll be writing code in Apex, and the good news with Salesforce is Salesforce focuses on writing less lines of code, right? Fewer lines of code. So most of your thing will be point and click, which is what we'll be covering in the next 10 sessions, weekly sessions. But you can also customize using Apex or using Lightning Web Component, which uses HTML and JavaScript. So you can decide to be a developer. And finally, there's quality assurance. So quality assurance are people who will test code, right? Someone has written code, and quality assurance or the testing folks will make sure that the code runs correctly. They make sure that all the acceptance criteria that is written as part of the user story, which the business analyst wrote, uh, meets. That way, when the final product is delivered, it works as expected. Okay. So you have tons of these roles. Now this is like we're talking about 3 to 6 roles in the Salesforce ecosystem. But don't forget, Salesforce also owns Tableau. Salesforce also has analytics. Salesforce also has data cloud. So if you are interested in analytics or in data, you can have a range of roles even in those areas, right? Where you can be a data analyst, you can be a data architect, you can be a data engineer. Those roles are also available within Salesforce. If you are a machine learning engineer, right? If you are a software engineer, those roles are also available within the Salesforce ecosystem. If you are interested in building your career in AI is embedded within Salesforce. There is Einstein platform that Salesforce uses, right? Which has Einstein Discovery, that is point and click machine learning capabilities. There's Einstein Vision. There's so much going on with Einstein. So if you want to build your career in AI, which is, by the way, the next big thing, then there are jobs and roles that focus on the AI implementation as well. Okay, so the next session we are going to focus on the data model, where we'll talk about the custom objects and custom fields. But now is the time to actually focus to show you how you can create your own Salesforce instance. Okay, and then I will log into my Salesforce instance and give you a quick tour of Salesforce, and then we'll wrap up the session today. And if you have any questions, use the chat, and I will answer those questions in the session today. Okay, so to go to say to sign up or to create your own Salesforce instance, it's extremely easy. All you have to do is just type in Salesforce developer org, right? The first link that you get, which is the developer edition sign up, When you click on it, all Salesforce really asks you to do is to fill out a form. Okay, so you can go here and I can say my name is Jay Nadkarni. I can give my email address. Role can be absolutely anything, right? There are a bunch of roles here. You can select developer, architect, CTO, administrator. It does not matter. You can select any role of your choice. Okay, so you can select developer. You can select company. So I can, again, company can be anything. There's no validation here. You can enter anything as part of your company. Country is United States. Okay, state province is, let's do Texas. Okay, and then you can enter a postal code. Okay, and here, this is your username, right? So you can enter, like, I mean, literally it has Jane at companies.sandbox. I can do Sujay at company.sandbox. Okay, and I have to click on this, and then let's enter my email. And once I do that, all I do is sign me up. Okay, so once I click on sign me up, it's going to send me an email with a link. All you have to do is click on that link. Yeah, it will ask you to enter a new password, and that is it. That's the process of getting your own Salesforce instance where you can, tour and start building your solutions. Now, luckily, we don't have to go through all that steps. If you have any questions, or if you run into any challenges while signing up for your Salesforce instance, let me know and I will be able to help you out. But again, it's fairly simple. You go to this link and I'll put that in chat. So you can developer.salesforce.com/sign up, and once you fill out the form, you will get an email. Just click on that link. It'll ask you to set up a new password. That's it, and you will have your own Salesforce instance. Now let me quickly give you a tour of the Salesforce instance. I have my own Salesforce. All right. So this is my Salesforce instance. Again, if you want to log into Salesforce instance, you can always go to login.salesforce.com, enter your username and password. And once you do that, it will log you into Salesforce. All right. So this is your Salesforce. This is the place where we are going to build a lot of automations in the next 9 weeks or 10 weeks. And when you log in, the first place that you see is the setup. This is under the hood. This gives you the look, and this helps you to configure Salesforce, right? We're not going to look into the configuration aspects of it today. That's something that we're going to look at next week, where we'll talk about data models, where we'll talk about objects, how to build custom objects, how to build custom fields, and so on. But if you see here, there are a lot of platform tools here, right? There's integration, there's user engagements, there's custom code, there's MuleSoft, Slack, there's tons and tons of things, right? So what am I going to do? I am going to take you to one of the apps, right? Remember the second or third slide that I showed you, Salesforce is all about customer 360, right? So Salesforce has several apps. It has sales apps, service apps, and marketing apps, and so on. So let's look at sales apps today, because there are some objects that are core to Salesforce. So I'm going to go here. It's very easy. You click on this waffle, which is the app launcher, and you click on sales. So when you click on sales, it is going to open the app for you. All right. So let's wait for the app to open. All right. So when you open this app, you see a lot of tabs here, right? So you see opportunities, leads, tasks, files, accounts, contacts, and so on. The objects that you have to remember at the first is the account. Okay. This is the customer's account. Then you have the leads, right? Contacts, and so on. So how does all of this work, right? So think of a customer going on a website and filling out a form. Okay, and let me pull up something here. Just give me 1 second. Let's go through this. New to pull up Excel and we're going to draw some flow charts. Okay. So here you have, let's say there's a web page. On the web page, you want to download some content. Maybe you want to download a PDF, or you're interested in a product. What does the website ask you to do? The website asks you to fill out a form. And as part of the form, it will ask you for your name, ask you for your email, ask you for, your maybe your phone number, or maybe even not that, right? It's just probably going to ask your name and email. And once you do that, what happens, right? Once you do that, so I say this is Sujay Narkarni, I enter my email, right? Something at test.com. What happens after you fill this out? Typically you get an email with a digital product in there, a PDF attachment, or something on those lines, right? So what is happening behind the scene is, so let's do some shapes here. What's happening behind the scenes is, come on. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Okay, so the customer fills out the form. Okay, customer fills out the form. The next thing that happens after this is this creates a lead in Salesforce. Now, what is a lead in Salesforce? Think of it as a record in Salesforce. If you know Excel, what this means is I'm simply inserting a row in the table, right? So it's creating a lead inside Salesforce. Once a lead is created inside Salesforce, what happens? It triggers a notification to your sales teams, right? Or it triggers a notification to one of your platforms that might send you the product via email. So a couple of things could happen. So I'm going to copy this. So this could, so this could do what? This could send an email to the customer, and it also notifies your sales team, right? Now, once a notification is sent to your sales team, meaning it typically will go to a queue and something on those lines, right? Once this goes to your sales team, a sales rep is going to look at that particular record and try to sell more products, or try to convert that particular lead into a customer, meaning someone who may pay today or who might pay in future, right? So the process that is happening after this is the lead is converted into an account, right? So typically what will happen is an account. So Sujay Nadkarni works for company ABC. So in this case, my company is ABC. Contact, right? Who am I contacting? Contact is Sujay Nadkarni. And let's say if you create an opportunity. What is an opportunity? Opportunity is a deal. Think of a deal where you're selling some actual physical products or digital products to a particular company, right? So that deal is an opportunity, and I'll show you what the opportunity stages are. But typically it is, reaching out to a customer, creating quotes for the customer, and so on. So you can track the entire life cycle of the opportunity in here, right? So this will be the opportunity. Now that we have understood what the base objects of sales are, let's go take a look at this. And then in one of the sessions, what we'll do is we'll actually create this entire workflow, right? So we'll create a web to lead where I'll show you how to create a form. We'll embed that on HTML. We'll fill that out. You'll actually see that a record is created inside Salesforce. And once a record is created inside Salesforce, you'll see how it gets, how the sales team is notified, and how you can convert that into an account or a contact. All right. So I'm going to go back to this. And luckily we should have some leads here. So I'm going to click on leads. Okay. So we have leads here, right? So assume Mike Brown, he's the VP of technology, works for Metropolitan Health Service. Okay. This is his phone number, mobile, and so on, right? So what does a sales rep typically do? They'll go here and they might make a call to the person, and we will talk to the person, and then they go through these different stages, right? So they'll say, okay, I'm working on this particular customer, and they'll change this to status to working, contacted. If the customer is not interested, they'll change it to closed not converted. But let's say if the customer is interested, right? If the customer they think is going to pay, and there's an opportunity, or opportunity to sell something, to create a deal with that customer, what typically the sales rep will do is they'll convert this lead. So I'm going to click on convert, and then I'm going to create a new account. I can choose an existing account, or I can create a new account. So in this case, let's just keep it simple. I'm going to create a new account called Metropolitan Health Service. I'm going to create a new contact for Mike, and I am actually not going to create an opportunity at this point. Okay. And as you can see, the record owner is me because I am looking at this, and the status is changed to closed converted. So I'm going to click on convert, and it says, look at this, your lead has been converted. So now I have an account. So let's click here, open a new tab, and I have a contact. So let's go here. All right, while this page is loading. All right, okay. So if you see here, this is your account, right? And as you can see, this account has a related list, meaning it says, hey, there's a contact for this particular account. There's no opportunities for this particular account. Cases are service cases, right? If a customer has an issues, customer is complaining, you typically open a case. Again, this says there's no cases for this particular customer, right? If you want to look at the details, you can look at the details here, and there's tons of fields available here, right? We are not leveraging the power of information here. So we are simply saying we have the account name, we have the phone number. But as you can see, there's parent account, there's website, there's account site. You can categorize this account into, say, hey, this is a this is a technology partner or an installation partner, or something on those lines. You can have an industry for this particular account and say, hey, this is a biotech company. I'm going to click on save. You can add a revenue, you can put a billing address, and so much more. So you can actually have an entire set of information populated inside Salesforce for a particular account. And we recommend that the sales reps actually do that. All right. Similarly, we can go to the account, to the contact, and the contact has very similar information. It has, it did not find any potential duplicates, which is a good thing. And we'll talk about duplicate management in one of the sessions, opportunities, cases, campaign history, and so on. And I can go to details. Again, we have base information, but there's lots of other information as well, right? You can have department that person reports to, birth date, if you want to automate and send birthday messages, to the particular customer, and so on. Think of this like a Twitter feed, right? Which is for internal use only. So if you want to have a conversation with one of your colleagues about this particular contact, want to get more information, you can use @ that person's name, have that information, and then the two of you can collaborate on this particular account. You can do polling, you can do questions, and so much more, right? Again, we are just scratching the surface today. So we spoke about accounts, contacts, and leads, which is a base object for Salesforce. Now I know we looked at it from a sales standpoint, but regardless of what cloud you use, these three things are always going to be used. So if you use cases, which is part of service, the case is always linked to an account. There's always going to be a contact person that is going to be linked to a particular case, right? Which is why we started with the base objects today. So I hope you found this helpful. Again, I know there's so much more to learn on Salesforce. In the next video, we're going to customize, or in the next live session, we're going to actually create a custom object. These are standard objects which come with Salesforce, but if you want to expand your data model, I'll show you how to expand a data model. We'll create different types of custom fields, and we'll add them on the page layout. In session 3, we'll do some of the validation rules, and we'll also start looking into web to lead, flows, and a little more complex things. We'll also talk about security. We'll also talk about sharing rules and things like that, so that the data is not freely available, easily available for everyone. So again, lots and lots of content to be covered in the next 10 sessions. If you have any ideas, if you want me to cover some topic, please do leave a comment in the chat, and I will make sure that it is added in one of these sessions. With that, I want to wrap up today's session. Thank you everyone who have joined today's session. If you are unable to make it, this video will be posted on YouTube, so you can watch it at your own convenience. And again, I will really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel, and if you go on Instagram and follow me on Instagram, because I do post daily content. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week. Bye.